So here we are onto our Roman roast beef with shallots. Now again, same book as before, other recipes, the ones I've been doing tonight. The Dere Coquinaria by Apicurious. I can't say it now. Oh dear me, hang on. Apicius. See, needed a beer. Or some Roman ale. Now this is actually from the book dedicated to beef and veal, so, and it's got beef in it, so we know it's a beef meal. Now, original text, nice and short this one. Vitulinum sive bubalum cum porris vel sidonis vel cepis vel coccacasis liquarium piper laser et ole modicum. Basically, veal or beef with leeks, or quinces, or onions, or taro, garum, pepper, laser, and a bit of oil. Now, laser is essentially going to be, because that's a Latin word for silphium, which you can't get anymore, doesn't exist anymore, no one really knows what it is. So we use a similar, we believe, spice called asafoetida, which is the one that stinks until you cook with it. So we're going to be using that. Okay, now like I said, could be a big fillet of beef. We're not doing that, we're just going to do it with some steaks, so obviously the cooking time is reduced. But we're going to cook in a pan like this, and the first thing we're going to do is prepare our shallots. So I'm just going to top and tail and peel the shallots. I'm going to put a little bit of oil into that pan, because if we were doing a big roast, we would cook the shallots along with the meat, but because the steak won't need so much cooking time, pardon me, what we're going to do is we're going to shove it in the oven for about 10-15 minutes on their own, and then we'll add the steaks, and then that way it'll all be cooked. So I'm just going to prepare them. So I'm going to add a little oil just to the base of that pan. Okay, we don't want an awful lot. Okay, we're not frying it, we're sort of banking it. And then, like I said, we're going to put them shallots into there. Okay, and then I'm just going to shove that in the oven, which I've already obviously got heated up, and that's going to go in there for about 15 minutes, and then we'll be ready to add the next bit. So let me just put this to one side for the moment, go back to our mortar and pestle, and then I've got some more long pepper, and we're going to grind that up. And like I said, the only other spice, as it were, that's going in there is this asafoetida. Now, the recipe, as I said, was quite brief. It didn't really, like a lot of them, they didn't give quantities or anything. Although having said that, I made a Roman cheesecake earlier, and they did actually specify quantities for that. But generally, they didn't always specify quantities, and this one we don't appear to have quantities for. So anyway, I'm going to grind this up, and then we're going to want a bowl to put our sauce in. So I've got some asafoetida already done there, so that will go in there. And then the other ingredient, which we don't actually have the proper one, is garum, which is like a fermented fish sauce. Typical Romans, they put it on everything, a bit like ketchup in it for the English. Ketchup goes on everything, doesn't it? So the Romans, they put garum on everything, and it's really pungent, really strong, very salty, but they add it on everything. So we'll be putting some of that in there. What was the other thing we've put in there? Oh, a bit of olive oil, right? And then that will form the basis of the sauce, which we will put over the steaks when we put them in the oven. Now, like I said, because it's steaks, it won't take so long. We're going to do them about 10 minutes on each side. I might give them longer, depends how well you like your steak. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on pounding and grinding that pepper, and then we'll be ready. So that's ground, that's going to go in the bowl. And then, like I say, we're going to add a little bit of oil. And we're going to add a bit of fish sauce. And I'm just going to mix that together. Let me get a spoon. There we go. No, I can't find one. That was it. Now we're going to need to add some more liquid to that. So a bit more fish sauce. So like I say, you can't, if you can get garum, you can use garum. You can buy sort of versions of garum. A bit more oil. And that essentially is the sauce we're going to use. So we don't need to prepare our steaks in any other way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook these first on one side without any sauce. Then when I flip them to cook the other side, as such, I'll put the sauce on the top. So that's our sauce prepared. Don't know, I might add a little bit more of that. Waffle like that. You may, by the way, have noticed there's a lot of eggs sitting here. Nothing to do with this. They're a gift for my nephew. Okay. He lives way over, just outside Naples. He's a bit posh. Got a big villa. And he obviously, well, he's got his slaves doing it, keeping his. He's got a little farm, and we've got a nice selection here of chicken and duck eggs, which he gave us as a little gift. So, well worth having a decent nephew. So, really, just waiting on them onions, or shallots, should I say, shallots, for another 10 minutes, and then we'll be ready to start our steaks off. So, the onions have had about 15 minutes, and actually they're pretty well done. And what we're going to now do is we're just going to put our steak in there, and like I say, we're going to put them in for 10 minutes. And there. They're going to go in 10 minutes, and then I'm going to flip them over, and then we'll be putting the sauce onto it. So, hopefully 10 minutes will be long enough each side, and we'll be ready to eat. That orgy I slipped off to earlier made me hungry. I'm thirsty. Slave, open the red. So, that's the steaks had one side. Now I'm just going to flip them. Okay, need to keep an eye on their shallots because they're cooking a little bit well. And then I'm going to just spoon over. Oops. Sauce over the steaks. And that's now going to go back in the oven for another 10 minutes just to finish off the steak. So I've removed the shallots and just going to slice them open. Whoop, they're warm. Place them on the plate, and then of course we will also want a couple of our spelt cakes. So here is our cooked steak, if it lets me pick it up. Okay, and just going to take a little bit of that sauce, drizzle it over the steaks and the spelt cake and shallots, making a mess all over the side of the plate. And there we have our Roman roast beef with shallots served with Apothernum Roman Spelt Cakes. I ain't going to try and eat a steak one-handed, so you'll just have to trust me, it tastes good.